Jim Trotter is a veteran NFL reporter, and he was recently hired by NFL Network, I think in 2018. And there's an inherent bias of being a reporter for like NBA Network, NHL Network, NFL Network, right? No matter what. It's just when you're working for the league and you're reporting on them, there's going to be issues. And there are going to be stories that get suppressed in order to maintain the public image of the league that you're covering. But there was an effort to make the NFL's coverage more oriented towards diversity, and so Jim Trotter getting hired was a part of that effort, especially given his long resume and the amount of respect that he has in this field in the league. And yet, Jim Trotter's contract, curiously, not renewed recently. And Trotter, according to him, was asked to sign an NDA in exchange for a sizable severance package, and he declined. So we might be hearing from Jim Trotter soon. But this lack of, or this non-renewal of his contract, this happened in the wake of, like, weeks after this line of questioning, which is at one of the few media appearances that Roger Goodell makes. This was ahead of the Super Bowl. Jim Trotter asked him this question about diversity and inclusion, which has been a part of like much of what Trotter has covered. But hey, he's an NFL Network employee and he really overstepped here. I just don't think it's a coincidence that after he asked this question, his contract not renewed.
Hey, Roger. Jim Trotter, NFL Media. You and other league officials have said that the league's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion extend beyond the sidelines and beyond the front offices and is applied to all aspects of the company. I've worked in NFL media for 5 years. During those 5 years, we have never had a black person in senior management in our newsroom. That's a problem because we cover a league who, according to league data, the player population is 60 to 70% black, which means that there is no one who looks like these players at the table when decisions are being made about how they are covered. More concerning is that for a year plus now, we have never had a full-time black employee on the news desk, which again is a problem because we cover a league whose player population is 60 to 70% black according to league data. I asked you about these things last year, and what you told me is that the league had fallen short and you were going to review all of your policies and practices to try and improve this. And yet a year later, nothing has changed. You know, James Baldwin once said that I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. And so I would ask you as an employee, when are we in the newsroom going to have a black person in senior management, and when will we have a full-time black employee on the news desk?
Well, Jim, I am not in charge of the newsroom, what I think can I answer your question? As you point out, it's the same question you asked last year.
Sorry.
And we did go back, and we have reviewed everything we've been doing across the league. And we are looking at everything from vendors that we're working with, to partners that we're working with, to ownership where we've seen significant changes in diversity just this year. And I'm not specific, do not know specifically about the media business. We'll check in again with our people, but I am comfortable that we made significant progress across the league. I can't answer the specific questions. Some of the data you may have raised there may be accurate, maybe not. Last year, I was told some of it wasn't. We'll get to you on that. We want to make progress across the board, and that includes in the media room. And so those are things that we'll continue to look at and hopefully make real progress to. I can't answer because I do not know specifically what those numbers are today.
He just gave them to you, buddy.
There are so many good things about this clip, and like Goodell's face as Trotter's speaking, he's like, "I can't wait to fire this guy."
Oh yeah.
And also, and when he starts speaking, this is just classic. He's like, "Jim, so I don't exactly know what to answer because the source of what I'm saying isn't coming from the boot of an owner.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to speak when I don't have an owner's boot in my mouth. So I'm gonna have to get back to you on that, and maybe when I start licking another owner's boot, I'll have something else to say. But right now, I can't really verify anything.
Yeah, I like not enough rubber sole on my tongue for me to kind of parse that information.
I'll have more information once I start licking Jerry Jones's boot at the next winter meeting. So I'll get back to you then. He's such a floundering little weasel.
Yeah, he was really seething there. And instead of hiring more black employees at their news desk, they just fired.
Yeah,
Jim Trotter.
let's split the difference here. Let's just fire you, Jim. Okay?
Yeah. How about that? Then you won't be around to ask us questions about it, and so it's like we basically
Pesky,
addressed
annoying
it.
little questions about why there are no black people at NFL media.
He's gonna. I would not be shocked if he sues.
I hope
he has a significant case that he can make just playing that clip and saying looks retaliatory, especially because he told Peter King of NBC, who I wouldn't be shocked if they end up hiring Trotter, by the way. They told Peter King of NBC that his agent told him that like he had no reason to believe that his contract would not be renewed.
I got to give him a lot of credit.
Someone told him that. So
I got to give him a lot of credit for this line of questioning, because this would be, I think, a tough sell or a difficult question to ask from anyone in that media scrum to Roger Goodell, but especially someone who is not only asking this question as a reporter to a subject, but as an employee of said subject. Like, that is really, really not easy to stomach or not easy to swallow, especially when, for I'm sure, someone like Jim Trotter, and this is nothing against him. I just mean, when you're an NFL media person, if you work for the NFL Network, NFL.com, a team affiliate, a team affiliate for a league website, for example, access is like kind of the name of the game. Like, you kind of need to sort of like massage/smooth over those relationships, because you're not only working to disseminate information about the team, you also kind of work for the team and you work for the league. So like, this was I think this shows kind of his mettle and his who he is as a person, to not be afraid to ask that question, and he was right for doing so.
And he called himself an employee, which is what highlighted the absurdity of Goodell's response as well, because Goodell was like, "I have no control over that. You're the commissioner."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
you don't. Oh, you don't.
In Trotter's question, he said, "Like, no, I'm your employee."
Right. So you de facto do have have some control.
I mean, I just like when the most powerful people of the company say, that's beyond my pay grade. Well, then don't have the position.
So then maybe
that
you should be fired, bro.
Yeah. What's your position then? The reality is that even though he does oversee that kind of stuff, what Goodell's role is to be a water boy for the owners who really call the shots. And they don't like Trotter coming out there calling out the NFL for its lack of diversity, because that casts light on some of their hiring practices, which we know all too well about from like the Brian Flores lawsuit and more. And the fact that there is only one person of color who owns an NFL team, and that's Shad Khan.
Right. And he is like
he's a bit of a character in and of itself.
Fervent
and he's
Trump supporter.
desperately trying to get the team to like London because it has a better market. So.
Yeah, right. He's like a weirdo gadfly.
Yeah.
Who is the only person of color who owns the team.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that like that would solve anything, because they're just billionaires.
No, it's right. Exactly.
Right, but it's just like
the lived experience for the most part is extremely uniform.
Exactly.